The 11th anniversary leaks are wrong. Well, okay, not really. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we are talking about the elephant in the room, the 11th anniversary leaks that have been circling for the last couple of days. You see, I had intended to kick off our 11th anniversary prep series that we always do in preparation for these big anniversaries, right? Getting our accounts ready and whatnot, with a big theory on what I think it's going to be. But of course, I feel like I can't do that now without addressing the obvious elephant in the room, and that is these leaks. Now, these had dropped over the weekend, and unfortunately, I have been sick and really just did not have the energy to cover this. Came down with COVID, unfortunately. And honestly, now, though, I'm glad I didn't cover it, because what it's done is it's given me time to think. It's given me time to really look at the leaks and look at what is known and what I have known, and the pieces I have been gathering for the last couple of months in regards to what's coming. And it's allowed me to kind of put all of this together and sort of build a puzzle based on these leaks and based on what is known, because I think there is a kernel of truth to the leaks, but I think whoever shared this initial post really pushed it kind of in a way that obviously generated a lot of backlash with the community. And so we're going to address that here. So let's go ahead and let's dive into the leak here. So this comes from, shout out to Fyrus for sharing this, and this does come from Instar on the Dokkan Battle Reddit. And, you know, many of you guys have seen the leak here. So I'm not going to spend too much time covering it because I know everybody's sort of seen it already. But I'm going to hit on three major points here. So number one, they give this guy credibility by stating that he predicted Gogeta, he predicted Gohan, Goten, and Trunks, and he predicted the Christmas LR Gohan and Trunks. Now, the guy is this Belgian YouTuber, Daimo. I know people keep saying French YouTuber. I'm not sure, is it French or Belgian? I mean, those are two distinctly different places. Maybe I'm missing something here, but either way, his name is Daimo, and he predicted this. Now, it's entirely possible he does have an insider source, but from what it seems, from what I've gathered from watching his videos and watching his follow-up to this post after this post blew up is, one, there's a lot of misinformation here, and two, his insider source doesn't tell him directly what's coming, right? That would break a lot of NTAs and obviously mess a lot of things up. So what it appeared that he did in the post that revealed this, right, is basically throw a bunch of things out, and one of them happened to be true because it lined up with what his source had given him. Now, that was the case for the Gohan and Trunks, the Christmas LR, right? And he had predicted that they would do this for that LR with the same animations as Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but he predicted a bunch of different things, and that's the one that ended up becoming true, right? Now, as far as the Gogeta thing goes, I can't really confirm, but everything I could find on what he had said about Gogeta all came after the Omega leak. And remember, the Omega leak happened the day of the celebration. So I would have to say that one's kind of, that's like me saying, oh yeah, Trunks is coming, I'm leaking this the day after, right, we get the Trunks trailer reveal. Like, the moment Omega was revealed, we knew Gogeta was coming, so that's anybody's game there. So I don't know that I can fully say, like, maybe he had info, but at the time the info was coming out, right, we had already known Gogeta was coming, so I don't know about that one. As far as the Gohan, Goten, and Trunks goes, I don't know about that one. I could not find any video of him specifically talking about that. I'm sure it was probably buried in a bunch of other video. It was probably buried in another video and I just couldn't find it. But you know, it's a good guess if he definitely did get it, and you know, that would definitely lend credence. I just can't speak to it because I could not find that specific video. But as far as the Gogeta one, right, and the Trunks one, those were both situations where he gave a bunch of possibilities and one of them came true, which is exactly what he did with this new one. And he even released a follow-up video to go over with what he had shown and stated that these are things that might happen, I don't know if they'll happen. I don't know if they'll be part one or part two, but one thing in here is true, is basically what he said, right? So it's not that this specific pairing will happen, right? Because basically what he did is he listed off a bunch of different pairings of characters that could come together. One of the first ones he mentioned was Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo, right, as an option. And I think he paired them with an opposite tag Vegito and Gogeta. And then he listed like, a Cooler and Frieza tag unit. And then like that's when the Blue Evolution and UI came up. And then the tag Super Saiyan 4s, right? These guys all kind of came up. These two kind of came up as complement tag units here. And so everybody kind of jumped on these guys because one, they're hype, and two, they seemed very likely given the way he sort of framed it. And the reason he framed it the way he did was more thematically, not necessarily because that's how the leak said it was going to be true. In fact, again, in his follow-up video, which I actually did pull up here, he specifically speaks on that. It's more that he kind of paired pairings he would like to see, and that one of the things is true, and that even the Super Saiyan 4 thing might not necessarily be true. That the Super Saiyan 4 thing that he thinks he knows might actually be something from Dragon Ball Daima, right? Not necessarily from the GT Super Saiyan 4s, right? So the point is, right, there was a lot of misinformation that basically led everybody to say it's Blue Evolution Goku and the tag Super Saiyan 4s. And it's like, well, no, not really, right? We can't say for certain. Heck, even based on his video, we can't say for certain that it is. All we can say is that something he said has a grain of truth to it. We just can't say what. All right. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't have insider sources. I think it's very likely he does. But obviously, for very good reasons, he's not going to reveal who, what, or how he has that information, right? So we have to take what little we can from what he gave, right? And this goes with other things too. And so this kind of play, I wanted to address this as saying, don't take this as the end-all be-all, because I don't think it is the end-all be-all. Even if this is correct, it's only one part of the anniversary, and it's not even guaranteed to be the part one of the anniversary, right? What I do want to use this is as a jumping off point to my theory of what actually anniversary is probably going to be centered around, based on conversations I've had with other people I know who have not necessarily reliable connections, but who have attended events who sort of would lead into this. So the thing I want to address next is, right, the trailer, right? Because this is going to be our jumping off point to my prediction. So let's go to the trailer here. So you guys have probably seen the trailer already for the 11th anniversary. So let's pause the lo-fi here and let's take a look. Okay, so let's come back here and let's just take a look here.
Even the lowest born can outdo the elite if they work hard enough.
You're about to learn the hard way that effort alone isn't enough to reach my level.
Just know this. I'll do what I can to carry on that pride of yours.
You must die!
Did you catch it? I know I didn't at first, but take a look here. So let's actually back up real quick to right when Goku, right, begins his fight with Frieza. So right here. Just know this. I'll do what I can to carry on that pride of yours. You notice that? So for those that don't notice, that's actually significantly different than the int LR's exchange, right? In the int LR's exchange, right, the animation is from the int LR, but the voice line delivery is significantly different. In the int LR's exchange, Goku's pitch is a little higher than his delivery here, right? Here, he's very soft-spoken. The way it reads here is almost like the way an entrance animation would read as opposed to the exchange. And this is important, right? And it's something I didn't notice at first until I was told to look for it, right? So Dr. Pitch here, or Pritch. Now, this guy has attended several community events. The most recent community event where they got to test the new mode and see a bunch of things, and that's where they got to see like the raffle Broly and stuff. But he also attended a special event where he got to do a Q&A with the Dokkan devs, right? So he says that there was something in here to catch, right? And I had actually picked up on some animation differences, but apparently everybody says that that wasn't it. And then so he then follows up with this post here saying, did you catch it? I won't say who or where, and you can't make me. All right. And then he posts a GIF of Vegeta, and he's saying he's not implying anything with the gift, but if we ignore the face value of that and assume there is something to apply, he's using Majin Vegeta. If you know anything about Majin Vegeta and that whole scenario, it's all about his pride, which directly led me to investigate that line there, right? The delivery of that line is off, right? And even the beginning of this, right, sort of talks about, Goku and Vegeta, right? That's sort of prideful encounter between the two in the beginning, and then it ends by him carrying on his pride. I think there's something there with the theming there. I'm gonna come back to that. All right. I think there's something with that, and that ties the anniversary to Namek. I know a lot of people will be like, well, it's only the first trailer. That means Namek's out of the question. It's like, I don't think that's the case here. I think they're going for something more general, but they're using scenes from various different arcs. And we'll see this, I think, come to fruition when the next trailer comes, right? That there's an overarching theme of these rather than necessarily a countdown of the arcs. So this is further evidenced by another person who attended the same events here, who sort of dropped this, right? And he's only dropping this because he suggests that there is another hint that was dropped in the in-game news. If we go back and check, and so this person attended the same Q&A and he's under a few other things that I can't really talk about, and I don't know if I'll get in trouble for sharing, so I'm not going to share them. But he did attend the demo event at the community day, just like Dr. Pritch did. And this is important, right? Because he mentions that in the in-game news, in one of his other tweets, that there was something mentioned there specifically about something coming up. And when we go to investigate the in-game news, right, they talk about an upcoming new mode, right? And this upcoming new mode is set to go live sometime in the either after or during the anniversary. And they specifically talk about it here as they talk about heroes who fought valiantly in the movie, right? Referring to the Extreme Z battles for the LR, Gohan and Piccolo and the TUR Gammas, right? So the term here, fight valiantly, really stood out to me here, especially in the context of his thing telling people that they dropped the hint to this, to the new mode in the in-game news. Now, if you know anything about and this is where this is all kind of tying together. Like, I know I sound like a crazy person here, but this is where it all ties together. So, back when the Truth sort of plotted out everything about that new game mode, right? We learned about how it's like, it's like a party-based system, right? You have different boss challenges you have to do. And as each fight goes on, there is an intensity meter where is it at? He mentions it somewhere here, right here, right? As the intensity meter increases, there's the bosses get harder. Now, again, this is something that this person has mentioned several times in several different tweets, that reiterating this word intense and valiant. Now, this sort of leads me to something a little specific here, right? So if I can actually pull up, let's just pull up some categories here. So let's actually pull up this category here, right? Intense and valiant. There's a connection there, right? Another word you could use for valiant or a valiant hero is where is it at? Savior. There it is. A valiant hero, a savior. And guess who is on the saviors category? Namek Goku. But guess who else is on it? Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. Does that not strike anybody else as odd? That certainly strikes me as odd. And that stands out to me as something that could be a big indicator for what is to come with the upcoming anniversary. Imagine an anniversary centered not around Namek, but around the idea of saviors, right? Very possible the leaks that Mr. Daimao here was referring to could have been a Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta tag who would fit on the Saviors category, and a Namek Goku, which, by the way, I didn't mention earlier, his pairing with Frieza, right? His pairing with a Frieza and Cooler was Namek Goku. It's all coming back together. I think there is a strong possibility that the theme of Anniversary is something connected to this idea of saviors and intense battles. And this is backed up, as I showed you in this video, through the new mode, right, being centered around Namek Saga with a battle meter called the Intensity Meter, right? And this idea of valiancy and intensity constantly being brought up. Valiancy and pride also go together. Vegeta, right? That's Super Saiyan 4 side, right? Goku carrying on the pride of the Saiyans with the Super Saiyan. It just makes sense. You could even toss Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku on there. And I mean, I could honestly see him being on the Saviors category. I don't know why he wouldn't be. All right, he kind of comes to the rescue at the end. I feel like he should be. Maybe I'm wrong, but it could work. But even still, with the intensifying fights theme, it still works, right? You could still fit him in that way. But I think that Namek will play a part in it, but not the whole thing. I could see the theme being sort of this intense battle type deal, right? Where we have theme 1 being Goku versus Frieza, right? Sort of, and then theme 2 in the part 2 being the intense fights with the Super Saiyan 4s, right? It could be, they could go anywhere with this, but I do think it would be crazy knowing this mode is coming to count Namek out just yet. And if there's one little piece I want to leave you with, one little morsel here, after a long conversation with somebody about this, and I was sort of playing with translations and running through some stuff, I came across something. Episode 87 of Dragon Ball Z. The curtain opens on the super decisive battle. I am going to defeat you. This is the episode where Goku first engages Frieza. Right? This is the episode that Vegeta dies and Goku begins his duel with Frieza, right? Even Frieza admitting that he's the strongest Saiyan. Here's the thing. Ultimate Battle is often what they use to translate. The English translation is often what is used to translate the word intense whenever they do the dubbing. Super decisive, decisive can be replaced with the word intense. And I didn't come about this unintentionally. Like, this was just playing around with words and researching. And then this is the episode that came up when researching the word intense. I don't think that that's a coincidence, but maybe that's me. So, guys, that is my theory on the anniversary. That is how I wanted to address the leaks, while also tossing in my own ideas for what I think we could see for the anniversary. I would not count Namek out just yet. I think that there's a strong possibility that it is still included, and then that there is a theme that has to do with either saviors or intense battles. But we shall see. Again, this is purely a theory. So that's it for the video, guys. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, what are your theories? What might predictions you have for what could be the anniversary? Again, I'm not saying these leaks were fully wrong here. I think that there is a grain of truth in here. And I think this is it right here, your grain of truth. I think there's a little bit to go on there. I think it's possible we could still see Daima. I think it's possible the Super Saiyan 4s could still find their way in there. It all depends on how they approach this framing, but I do think there is something here. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.